Annyeonghaseyo! Welcome to Afternoona Delight. We're Leah, Megan, and Amy, romance novelists and your K-romance guides. So grab some dekboki and listen to your new favorite unnies. Hello.
Hi, Megan.
So, look, tonight
We had a plan.
is not really going... We did. We had a great plan that all three of us were very excited about. But today has been a day. So first of all, Leah's not with us because she's basically in like a bomb cyclone in California.
Right. It's like a terrible storm. The whole, part of her town is evacuating. They're planning on like a citywide power outage. Like it's just crazy. And she's on campus. And so she's like, they issued her a walkie-talkie. So like shit's getting real.
Yeah. She's like on call on campus. So she cannot be here. Amy and I are tired. We had parenting issues today. Nothing emergency wise, but we're just tired.
Parenting is exhausting, folks. Can I just tell you how, like, speaking of like parenting being hard and like the universe kind of conspiring against me, this was my kids and I today. So we've been talking all week. And yes, this is like first world problems, but like we've been talking all week about, we have no frozen yogurt places by our house. Like you have to drive at least 15 to 20 minutes to get to Froyo. And we all like Froyo, okay?
Yeah.
We like picking our toppings, loading that shit up, and chowing down. So we had a plan today that we were going to go to the closest one that's like, 15 minutes away for frozen yogurt. Mm-hmm. We were going to go like kind of around lunchtime because my daughter had her therapy session, her Zoom therapy session with her therapist at 2. So we're going to go before. So my son and I woke up and we went to the health club to work out, and we came home and we were going to go do Froyo. And I look it up just to like remind myself of the directions. They don't open till 2.
No.
So
I thought you were going to say they closed.
No, they were going to open.
Like at least
they
not...
don't open till 2. So I'm like, you know what? There is a BP gas station like just down the road, like 10 minutes, that says it has a TCBY inside, but we've never gone in there. But it's got TCBY inside.
Okay. Yeah.
Which is a yogurt place. I don't know if you have that out by you. It was like one of the first frozen yogurt places here in like the 90s. And I haven't seen one in a while. So I'm like, let's go check out what they have at the BP. And if it's not crap, we'll get yogurt there and we won't have to worry about it later. So we go there and it's literally like a vending machine. Like it's like, this is just making me think of Crash Landing on You because we just rewatched it. It's like when the poor little duckling thought that there was a man inside the coffee machine, like frothing the milk for him. It was that size of a machine that there could have been somebody back there, like pulling the little lever for your frozen yogurt. Anyway, they only had 2 flavors, chocolate or banana.
Or banana,
Vanilla, which my son would have been down with. My daughter was like, gross. And I was like, gross.
Yeah.
I'm like, okay. So technically she has therapy from 2 to 3. They're supposed to go to their dad's at 3. But Sydney's like, can we please just go to the one, that opens later at 3 o'clock? Dad's not going to be home anyway until like 4, and we'll go get frozen yogurt then. And so Connor and I are like, fine. I mean, it wasn't that quick. Fine. It was like a whole brother-sister issue. But anyway, we decided we're going. Fine. So 3 o'clock comes. Sydney takes her car. I take mine because they're going to go straight to their dad's afterwards. And she gets there before she drives past the place to pull into the parking lot, and my phone starts ringing in my car, and Connor's in the car with me. And I answer the phone, and it's her. I'm like, is it closed? She's like, there's a note on the door. It's closed. I'm like, what the hell? So I Google quickly, is there anything ice cream nearby? Like, I just got to get some freaking ice cream in these kids because we've had like a shit day and like whatever. Yeah. There's a Baskin Robbins like 4 minutes away.
Okay.
So we pull into Baskin Robbins and I'm like, oh my gosh, Sydney, you've never had my favorite flavor, which is gold medal ribbon. I've loved it since the 80s. It's my favorite. I'm going to get a cone. She's like, I am too. We go in there. They don't have gold medal ribbon. They don't have chocolate, which is what Connor likes. They don't have strawberry, which is his second choice. They don't have just plain old vanilla unless it's their frozen yogurt. And so long story short is Sydney gets the frozen yogurt vanilla, which was like a really weird texture, but she's like, it tastes fine. She gets that in a cone, and Connor gets a freaking jelly donut.
A jelly donut!
And I get nothing, because I'm like, I never wanted Baskin Robbins to begin with. So,
my God.
So it's just like, and this is not at all to compare with Leah Storm because that's way worse, but like,
Right.
I just feel like the universe is not on our side today. That's what I want to get
today has just been a day. That's all there is to it.
So we're going to entertain you all somehow.
Yeah, so the deal is, but well, this is the thing, because we had shit days, we want to be here. Like, I am so tired. I don't care. I want to be here. I was like, I want to talk about Kdramas. Because with Amy, or I would actually probably, if Amy was busy, I would just get on the mic myself tonight. Because I was like, get on the mic. I'm so like, I'm so pretentious. But anyway, I was like, I want to talk about Kdramas. So all that's to say, we're just being honest with you. We're a little bit casual and off the cuff tonight because what we had planned fell through at the last minute. We're rescheduling it. Don't worry. We'll get to it. But Amy and I are just going to be lobbing some stuff at each other, and
we'll see how it goes.
Either way, you're getting K-drama content. Oh, let me tell you, actually. So I have like an author friend who writes like alien romance like I do. And we're like working on a project together in the future with a bunch of other authors. But anyway, we're in a group together and she's like the admin. So she had posted today, sorry if I don't answer messages in a timely manner. I'm in South Korea right now.
What?
And of course I am like, excuse me. And so I wrote back and I was like, oh my gosh, have a great time. I'm really jealous. And then I said, think of me when you have tteokbokki. And she wrote back and was like, oh, I didn't realize you've been to South Korea. And I was like, no, I haven't. That's why I'm jealous. And it's funny because my author world is just, I don't usually talk about my podcasting stuff.
I was going to say, does she know about this?
So no, because my author name is different than my real name that I podcast under, Megan, obviously, and my author name is different. And so I said, no, I'm jealous. I said, and then I just like outed myself. I was like, I'm a huge K-drama and K-pop fan. And she's like, oh, okay, cool. So then she private messaged me and she's like, I have your address, just again, because we're working on a project together. So I had to sign a contract. So she has my address. And she's like, I have your address. Would you mind if I sent you a postcard from Korea? And I was like, I would die. Like, of course, I'm like so extra about it. I was like, I would love that. Oh my God, thank you. But she's like, well, because I was like, I have a bucket list of places that I want to visit when I go to South Korea.
Did you ask her? She wrote, like, can you go to this like abandoned amusement park? That's really freaky.
That's so funny. Yeah. So I was like, so she's like, is there any places in Seoul you want to visit? And I'm like, look, yes, like most of them are K-drama filming locations. So I'm like so nerdy, but I was like, I want to visit tons of places like the Comfort Woman Memorial, Jeju, Busan. Like I'm talking like everything. Right. And she wrote back and she was like, okay, well, I'll look. And it was funny because I said, I'm actually literally right now watching a soccer game where Son Heung-min is playing. Like I'm literally cheering for him as I'm typing. And she's like, oh, my husband's a big fan. So I'll tell him. But yeah, she went to college there or went to university. I think they don't call it college, but yeah, she went to university there and that's where she met her husband and they're there visiting family. So she goes, I think, kind of frequently.
That's so awesome.
And I'm jealous.
I'm super jealous. That's amazing. Yes.
So I know. I was like, oh my goodness. So yeah, she said she sent me a postcard and I'm super stoked. But anyway, how cool is that? I don't know. It's just kind of cool, the connections you make. And it was just interesting that, again, it's always weird when my author world and my K-pop and K-drama fandom worlds collide. And I also got my latest ATEEZ album yesterday.
Well, that's super exciting.
So I got to look through it. And the cutest thing is there's a little like feather like bookmark in it, or it's like a sticker. It's really cool. And I'm really excited about it. I know it sounds little, but I love it.
Hey, if it brings you joy, it's not little. It's awesome.
It does. It does. The whole, they give, photo cards in like the albums. Yeah. And I got Songhwa, who's my bias, and it's like in his blonde era. So I'm super excited. So that brought me joy today. So there you go.
Okay. So the universe was a little bit kind, and I'm happy to hear that.
Yes. Thank you.
All right. Well, wish me luck because we're going to try for Furyo again on Friday. The next time I see my kids, like, it's a silly little thing, but it's like, you have your heart like set on something.
Then I would drive
and you
everywhere
just
if I had
can't
my heart
get
set
it.
on
Right.
something.
I know.
Yeah.
Do
you have Sweet Frog near
No.
you? Okay. It's the same thing. It's like you go in and they have the frozen yogurt that you like pull the lever and then all the toppings.
Yeah.
Yeah. We have one near us and the kids love it. And it's always really gross what toppings they put on. Like my son will put like gummy frogs on his like frozen yogurt.
Oh, my kids just put exploding boba. That's their favorite thing, is exploding boba all over their yogurt. And like flavors, and I have nothing against exploding boba. It's not my thing. Like I never liked stuff that like changes texture in your mouth. Like I don't like gushers or like anything like that. So, but they like the exploding like fruit boba. Like whatever flavor they have of the boba, they'll put on their yogurt no matter what flavor their yogurt is. So like they might have like a cake batter flavored yogurt and they'll put, like mango boba on it. Just they love the boba.
That actually, I mean, those sound like good
I know
flavors.
those don't sound terrible, but like they just.
No.
But I'm like, how do you taste anything other? Because you got to see like the piles of boba that they put on. So it's funny, but you know what, they like what they like, and that's all good. And I like what I like, and it's I don't usually put anything fruity on my yogurt. That's just me.
What do you put on, like chocolate and stuff?
So I am a big fan of crushed up Heath bar in my yogurt.
Oh my God.
That's like the only time I ever eat Heath. Like I'm not gonna go buy myself a Heath bar. Like nobody does that.
Yeah. I made Christmas crack and I put the bits of Heath that you can buy in the bag, and every year I have some downstairs. It's my favorite thing.
Yeah, so no matter what flavor yogurt I get, I
support that.
put Heath in there and maybe something else, but it's usually like just Heath.
I don't even like frozen yogurt, but that sounds good.
Yeah.
I don't really like ice cream. I know I'm kind of weird.
What?
I know. I don't really like ice cream. I know.
I don't know what to do with this.
I know. I don't really do whipped cream. I don't do Cool Whip. I know. I realize that it's a strange thing about myself, but I do not. I have my whole family.
I have both whipped cream and Cool Whip in my fridge right now.
Well,
which are not ice cream at all, but I put them on my ice cream for sure.
Yeah, they just eat like the Cool Whip plain. I don't know. I just don't. I will eat some ice cream. I'll eat Chubby Hubby Ben and Jerry's. Mm-hmm. That's the one with like the pretzels, with the chocolate covered and the peanut butter. Basically, my ice cream has to have like tons of stuff in it. I don't really just like. I know it's really. My whole family likes ice cream. Like we went to the mall the other week and they saw this frozen yogurt place, and all three of them made like a beeline towards it, and I was like, I'm gonna
So you
go.
pass, like you don't get frozen yogurt.
I just went to Jamba Juice and got a strawberry smoothie across the thing. Wow. Yeah. They all sat and ate, and I got my smoothie. Yeah, I know. Because I don't know what
like
my deal
I
is.
used to like. I haven't done this in a long time, but my thing. I'm sorry, you guys. We're talking like a lot about ice cream here, but it's important stuff.
Well,
I used to like whenever I just kind of felt like a little snack, and I was out and about, I would drive through McDonald's and just get a vanilla cone, and that's like one of my greatest joys in life. Vanilla soft serve.
See, I will drive through McDonald's and get their iced coffee. In the summer, their large iced coffee. Do you realize I could stay up for like 3 days straight drinking that? I love their large iced coffee. And there's always like I say no flavor, so it's just like they're like sweet cream. I mean, it makes my bowels move like immediately.
Oh my God. This took a turn.
This is why I wanted to podcast, because I'm like, I just need to
She's
talk.
like, I need to talk about coffee and my bowels and where else better to do it. Yeah. So let's get into something K-drama related. Or,
okay.
I mean, how about like, I just hit my mic. Sorry about that. Let's just start off like, are you watching anything right now?
I'm watching, obviously, Singles Inferno. So as we record this podcast,
7 and 8 just dropped.
Yes, 7 and 8 just dropped, which I have not seen them yet.
They can't spoil you. They're not going to hear this till Singles Inferno is over. So,
well, I know. I'm saying to you,
I'm not spoiling. I know not to spoil.
No, I know. No, you're good. So, I'm in the middle of watching that, and then I had said this before, but I finished Bad and Crazy, and we're covering it on the podcast, so that's coming up. So I think I'm going to start The Fairy and the Devil. I don't even know if I'm saying that
I think
right.
it's Love Between a Fairy and a Devil.
Love Between a Fairy and a Devil. If not, I might pull one of my like Megan weird things where I just like pick up a random drama. So I don't know. I would say I'm not sure. Yeah. I'm still kind of doing a Chloe rewatch. Like, I'm still kind of like, I watched most of it, but I'm still kind of rewatching scenes and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But what about you?
Yeah, I just finished rewatching Crash Landing on You because that, I mean, it's not a spoiler. Like, Leah and I talked about it last time. Like, that's what we were going to be recording tonight. But Leah's on Stormwatch, and so we will record that at a later date. So we are going to do our Crash Landing on You rewatch. And I did just finish that yesterday. So I'm also, I caught up on Singles Inferno today. And it's so good. I'm
excited.
Oh my God,
I'm so excited.
Good. And I'm probably going to do Love Between a Fairy and a Devil too. Like, I already started episode 1, and then I had to pop over and do our Chloe rewatch because I was, running out of time for that. And then just randomly today, in my random happenings on social media, I catch this picture of Lee Joon-gi in a tux with his hair basically like Suga from BTS. Like, he's got Min Yoon-gi hair going on right now. And I'm like, what is this? And I click on the article, and he just won the Best Actor Award for the SBS Drama Awards for his role in Again My Life, which that drama was on my list when it first came out. I think it's on Viki. And when it first came out, and it's one of those, it's very similar to the Song Joong-ki one that just came out as well, where he dies and like comes back and stuff like that. But I think that I just was reading like unfavorable reviews in the very beginning. And so I just kind of put it aside because we had other stuff to do for the podcast. And so I was, plenty busy. But now that, I know what kind of performance this man can give. Flower of Evil is definitely in my top 5. And now that I see that he just won the Best Actor Award, I'm like, all right, I think I need to check this out sooner rather than later. And I know that he's not going to have this hair that he has at the award show from like 2 weeks ago. He's not going to have that in the drama. I understand that. I understand that now is not when the drama was recorded. But yeah, I'm feeling some Lee Joon-gi vibes, and I might have to check that out.
I know. Seen, because I saw the picture too.
Well, yeah, I shared it. I'm not going to like let that go unshared.
Right. Well, I had seen the picture, but I did not look up what it was for. And so now that I know, I could really go for some Lee Joon-gi. I like really some could. Emotional so I might Lee consider Joon-gi. That.
And I don't know if that's what this is, but I just like Lee Joon-gi and like what he displayed in Flower of Evil. I will never be over that.
I know. I feel like I could, and I feel like too, if I'm watching Love Between Fairy and a Devil, because that obviously is romance heavy. So I feel like if I'm watching that, I could watch something that's like not as romance heavy. You know what I'm saying? Which Bad and Crazy is not.
Right. Obviously. And I have to watch that too, because we're doing that in a couple weeks. And I know that's a shorter drama, but I'm really excited for that.
So we'll be covering that, and we will be covering Singles Inferno. No one worry, because it's a wild season. Well, season 1 was wild too, but this season is wild.
I can't talk about what happened today, but I want to talk about what happened today.
I know. I'm the odd one out. I will get on that.
It's crazy. So,
okay, cool.
You'll have to let me know. It's literally the end of episode 8, so you have a while to get to it.
And then they leave you on a cliffhanger.
No, it's not. Well, yeah, it's a little bit of a cliffy, but it's not that type of thing. It's just, it's one of the competitions. It's the competition between the men, and it was just bananas. I love it. There was blood drawn. Like, I can't.
Sure.
I can't.
Oh my God, I love it.
It was so intense.
Okay.
It was so intense. Okay. So, lob one at me. What do you got for me?
Okay. So, let's do, what was your favorite grovel? I know I'm putting you on the spot.
No, you're not, because guess what? I thought about this because you brought it up earlier, and I'm like, what if Megan asked me? Like, it'd be like, what if Megan asked me? I love grovels. Yes. Well, yeah. So here's the thing. I bet you I'm going to steal what your favorite grovel is.
Probably. It's okay. You can do it.
Okay. It's Gia and I Am Not a Robot. It's the best grovel. And I know when we think of grovels, you probably think of the hero groveling to the female. Like, that might be the first thing that comes to your mind if you have not seen I Am Not a Robot. Mm-hmm. But, oh my gosh. So, look, it's not a spoiler. If you haven't seen I Am Not a Robot, you've got a recluse of a man who buys this robot, or is testing out this robot, but there's a malfunction with the robot. And so the scientist's like ex-girlfriend, for whatever reason, because he designed the robot to look exactly like her, agrees to play the robot for a day. And of course, it goes more than a day. So Jia is also playing the robot. And, you know, shit's going to hit the fan. And eventually he's going to find out that she is not a robot. It's called I Am Not a Robot. So the grovel is to, you know, apologize to him. And basically he wants nothing to do with her. Nothing to do with her. He has been betrayed, humiliated, like you name it, almost died, like everything. And she just keeps going to his house, making him meals, cleaning his house.
Even when he throws them in the trash, he throws them in the trash right in front of her, and she just lifts her chin and she comes back the next day.
Because she knows she deserves it.
She knows she deserves it. And she's also willing to do it for him because she loves him.
And she's willing to wait.
She's willing.
Yeah,
she's willing.
Ugh.
Even when he yells at her. Oh, God, it's the best scene.
I want to rewatch it. I want to rewatch this drama just from thinking about this part of it.
I mean, I rewatched I Am Not a Robot twice. Or, I'm sorry, I rewatched it once, so I saw it twice. And it was just as impactful the second time. Like, it really tore me up. But I loved it because I think that was the only like really sad scene I watched because I just didn't want to see the sad scenes. But I did watch that one because I was like, it's such a good scene. And Yu Sung-ho is amazing in that scene.
I mean, he's an amazing actor. And this was obviously the first thing that we'd seen him in. And then we went and watched him in Imaginary Cat, you and I. And we were like, this is going to be a silly little drama about a man and his cat. And folks, I'm telling you, he acts his fucking heart out with this cat. And I believe every second of it. We cried. We cried.
And this stupid cat drama that the budget was probably $20.
It was like, there was nothing fancy about it. There was no great story. Like, it was not anything like mind-blowing.
No.
It was amazing.
It was so good. I mean, that is my favorite one. I
couldn't think of a better one. And so I'm like, if Megan asks me this, I'm just going to say it because I don't think that there is a better one. If you all have a better grovel, you have to have seen I'm Not a Robot to know this grovel. But if you have a better grovel, like, please share. Like, I want to know. Because I love that. That's a trope or a device, a plot device that I love. I do love a good grovel.
I would say Go Back Couple.
Yes, that's another good one. But it's like a double grovel.
That's what I was just going to say. It's like both of them. And I loved that because I thought that was what should have happened. It was, I think, again, Go Back Couple was recommended by Grace, one of our listeners. It was not on any of our radar. Any of our radars. I had never even heard of it. And I also don't really like kind of like Marriage in Trouble. Those are not, it's like a trope I usually avoid. But Grace was like, this is fantastic. And I like kind of challenging myself with K-dramas and tropes I don't normally like. And I absolutely fell in love with this drama in so many ways. And, it was neat to see this married couple who both made mistakes and how they like worked through it. And they like both had a grovel. And I just thought it was really a special drama when it came to
and
that.
if you all don't know this drama, in Go Back Couple, basically it's a married couple on the verge of divorce who all of a sudden wake up, both of them on the same day, wake up back in their college bodies. And they relive meeting each other, but both of them know that they've gone back in time, it's a bonkers premise and it totally works.
It's so bonkers and it works. And they're like the only ones obviously that know, and they learn pretty quickly that they both know. And so they're both trying to avoid each other, but yet they can't, and they know each other so well. I mean, we've talked about the scene where she gets her period. They're like estranged at this point, and he goes and he buys her exactly what she needs. No embarrassment, no weirdness, just goes and buys her what she needs, brings them to her, and then like pounds her like lower back how she likes to have it pounded. sounds so weird. Because of her cramps. And yeah, it's amazing. So I would say that's my other.
Yeah, that's a good one. So that actually brings me to something that I wanted to ask you. That's a really good. Okay, it's a really good transition there. And you actually brought this up in our Slack chat when we've been talking about Crash Landing on You over the past week. And that scene that you just brought up is a really good example of this. So obviously you can't use this scene as an example.
Oh,
but female gaze, like
yeah.
Kdrama is, I mean, I think that's one of the things that brought us to Kdrama, even before we realized that's what brought us to Kdrama, is how much the dramas cater to the female gaze. And that him buying the pads or whatever she needed and, you know, and rubbing her back, that is big time female gaze. It's there for us. It's there for the, you know, the female viewer or the female identifying viewer. And it's so well done. So I want to know what else, because you brought this up about Crash Landing on You as well. And you can bring up something from Chloe or you can save it for that pod. But what do you think is another good example of a K-drama that really caters to the female gaze?
I mean, I think Business Proposal obviously is a big one. I think, so I know we've talked about Universal Fantasies on here before. If you haven't listened to that podcast, please go do it, because we do reference it a lot, but it's all about
it will be referenced in the Chloe episode as well. Just so you know.
It's all about what we call the butter that makes a story rich. And Universal Fantasies are things we all like. Like, it's the reason that we love Beauty and the Beast, because you know, he's that like loner beast who loves her and only her. He gifts her a library, things like that, you know, just these like universal fantasies. The beauty and
like a makeover is a universal fantasy.
Oh God. Healer,
right?
I forgot about the makeover. And God, Healer is so universal fantasy too. Oh my God.
Well, yeah, because that's like also like falling in love with the superhero.
Oh my God, I know. Well, I'll talk about Business Proposal first, because Business Proposal is like, you know, you have this like rich, handsome CEO, and he loves you, and you're like goofy, and you're just kind of like, I mean, in her everyday life, she's plain. And by plain, I just mean like she's not like super fancy. She's not trying to like bag a CEO. She's just, you know, working her little job that she loves. And he pursues her, obviously, which is huge universal fantasy. And even the secondary couple is a major universal fantasy, the way that romance plays out. And then you have Healer, which, why didn't I say that first? So Healer, oh my God, the fact that he is essentially like a hidden guardian for her.
Yeah.
Are you kidding me?
And Guardian is big time female gaze too, like the protector.
Oh my God. It's huge. Yeah. It's like, if you look at any sort of like Bodyguard, I mean, obviously Bodyguard is like, again, we're talking about romance books as romance authors. So when we talk about universal fantasies, we're saying things that we write in romance books, the things we read in romance books. And yeah, I mean, the Bodyguard trope, huge. And that is basically what Healer is. And yeah, he's also kind of like a superhero, but he's also got this like damaged, you know, inner wound that she can heal, and she does heal. But it's also not toxic, because he also learns how to heal it himself. And I'm using a lot of heal in Healer.
But, I mean, whatever. Look at how deep the meaning of that title is. Like we've had dramas where we're like, why the hell is it called that? But like Healer, that is a meaningful title.
Oh my God. It's just, oh my God. Actually, now as soon as I had Healer, I'm like, that's universal fantasy. And that's female gaze. And then I've talked about this before. This is just like a scene, but I've talked a lot about how in her private life, there is just this random
slow
scene
pan
of on slow pan of An Bo-hyun showering, and it cracks me
And
up.
sad showering because he's
sad shower.
his love is
pining over
unrequited.
her.
Yes.
And he's not even the first male lead. I think that was when I was like, K-dramas are for me. K-dramas are for me. Like the fact that you're giving me this and he's not even
Like there's
not
no
even the
it's
main male
totally
lead.
gratuitous.
It's absolutely
In the
gratuitous
best way.
for no reason. For
The
no
same
reason.
the same
And-
reason that he does push-ups shirtless in Itaewon Class on Boyan. Like there's no reason that we need to see that, except that we need to see that.
We need to see that. It's and I'm even watching, this isn't a spoiler for Bad and Crazy, but I'm even watching Bad and Crazy, which is not a romance drama. I mean, there's like a minor romance in it, but it's not like at all the plot line. And he just has a random fight in a sauna with only a towel on, because of course he does. Like, why wouldn't
I mean,
he?
this is what everybody says
know?
about the shower scene in the K2, which we've never watched, but we've watched that shower scene.
Oh, of course I've watched it. Like it's just, K-dramas are just like, you want to see men fight in a towel while they're like glistening? Sure, we will give it to you. We will hand this over to you on a silver platter, and then we'll put the clip up on YouTube so you can watch it anytime you want, you pervy pervs.
Did I not? Did I not? Or was it? I think I mentioned it, and then Leah found the clip of it and sent the clip of Eungi's sad shower, because like it came up for some reason, and I brought it up, and then Leah's like, and here's the clip because you can go find it on YouTube, and of course you can.
Yeah, and so I'm not going to talk about Chloe, but I will talk about Tail the Nine-Tailed when he's crawling hand over feet, feeling pain as a human. We're talking about Lee Dong-wook, who's supposed to be a
Gumio.
fox demon, a Gumio. But yeah, he's crawling with human pain over the bridge to hell with knives flying at him. And he's doing that for her. Only for her.
Mm-hmm.
And he arrives back nearly dead for the love of his life.
But his Vans look great. His Vans look like totally clean.
I mean, it's just like, it's like pick a drama.
I know. Well, I'm saying, I'm
do...
like, because another good example of like a grovel that is not like for the heroine face to face, I think, is Itaewon Class, right? Like just like crawling through the knife bridge, like Itaewon Class. You've got Park Seo-wee, who swore he would never kneel before the baddie, who basically ruined his life, and at the end of Itaewon Class, he kneels before the bad man to save his woman's life. So the bad man.
He is so bad. But yeah, well, I mean, hell, we could do an entire episode just like lobbing K-dramas at us, and we'll tell you the female gaze from that episode, or from that drama.
I mean, that grovel is definitely the female gaze grovel. Like, he does the unthinkable for the woman. And that's, I mean, like, I feel like that is one of the huge things, and we'll talk about it when we get to Chloe next episode, or next time we record. We don't know what order we're going to drop these folks. Like, we're, for the first time in 2 years, we are flying by the seat of our pants, and we hope you enjoy it.
I know, we really are.
And then
that's why this might feel a little chaotic, is what I'm trying to say. Bear with us today.
It is a little chaotic. Okay. I came to K-dramas in general because of Crash Landing on You, right? And it was because of like these epic romantic moments. And I think that's what we get as far as the female gaze in K-drama romance. Like stuff like the K2 isn't necessarily going to be a romance, but we get to see some, great shirtless shower fighting. And that is female gaze as well. But when we're talking about the female gaze as far as romance, we do get these over the top romantic moments that I think do include these grovels, which are wonderful.
And, I actually can't wait to talk about Bad and Crazy, because there is a relationship in Bad and Crazy. It's between two men, and not a romantic relationship, but a very, very close. We'll get to it. We'll talk about Very Crazy. But what I'm trying to say is they go through a whole arc as well. And there is a grovel. There's basically a grand gesture. So it's not even, always about the female gaze. It's about, they know how to do relationships. Yeah. The writers of K-dramas just know how to do relationships in an authentic way. I cried in Bad and Crazy. And you'll see when you start watching this drama, you'll be like, how did Megan get to the point where she's crying?
Or
How?
maybe I'll cry. You never know.
Because it is so violent, so over the top. And I'm crying. Like, it is just, I just love how relationships are written in so many K-dramas and between any gender. And I think that's, you know, again, the bromance of like Goblin. I mean, that has an arc too.
Absolutely.
It has a really, really nice friendship arc. And so
And that's when you recognize like really good writing, right? Where every relationship has its own emotional arc, even if it's not driving the main plot forward, right? I mean, like, and that was the thing that I thought was pretty spectacular in Goblin, is that all the different arcs also did drive the plot forward. Like, they were all necessary to the plot.
Yeah, because you even think about Sunny and Untak's relationship. That was also a very cool friendship that had an arc as well. Oh my god. And actually,
I'm getting very nostalgic right now for all the dramas that we've watched and loved.
And I'm going to talk about 2521, which again, I know I've mentioned this, and Sarah and I had a podcast on 2521. There is a female friendship arc in 2521 that is beyond good. It's actually probably one of my. I wish I liked the entire drama as a whole more than I did. I still liked it a lot. But I would say that female friendship arc is one of my top relationships of any that I watched in 2022. That female friendship is incredible. And if you've watched 2521, you know what I'm talking about. And it's amazing. And I will say right now, if female friendships are your thing, like they are just, oh my God, you eat them up like crazy, then watch 2521 because you'll be happy.
With at least that.
Yeah, you'll friggin' love it. You'll eat that with a spoon. I still am like, that could have been sapphic and I would have been down, but whatever. I'll write fanfic.
You should.
I know.
Next time we do second lead SOS, maybe we should do like a fanfic.
Yeah, we talked about in our last Patreon live, actually, some people were asking us to like completely rewrite endings. And maybe we will. Maybe because I know we've done like second male lead SOS, so maybe we'll do like
an ending
rewrite.
SOS.
An ending SOS.
Dramas that should have ended.
Because we could do that.
I feel like have we done an ending before? Because now I
feel
feel like I remember myself, or maybe we've just talked about it, because I know that more than once I've talked about the ending to the King Eternal Monarch and what I would have done differently. But I don't know if I actually wrote anything for it. I think we've just maybe talked about it.
I'm going to look that up. Because I thought you did. Because now it sounds really familiar. Maybe we just talked about it.
Because I know how I would end it. Like, we've definitely talked about it, but... Yeah. And don't get me wrong, anybody out there who loves the King Eternal Monarch, so do I. So do I.
Yeah, honestly, I think I reminisce about that drama a lot. Mostly Unsa.
That's talk about another, like, that's, if we want to talk about bromances for a minute here, like, the most brilliant bromance played by the same actor.
It was crazy. That was so good. So freaking good. I miss Woo Do-won. Like, come back.
I know.
Please.
And if you haven't seen The King Eternal Monarch, it's a parallel universes drama. And so there's a doppelganger in each universe. And so Woo Do-won obviously plays both his doppelgangers from each, one is the Republic of Korea and one is the Kingdom of Korea, spelled with a C. And his doppelgangers meet, and it's amazing. Amazing. So, just saying.
Ugh, I need him back in something soon.
Yeah. He's a fun one.
I mean, he is back. He must be working on something.
If you enjoy our podcast, you have our patrons to thank, at least in part. Afternoona Delight Patreon allows us to keep creating content for y'all to enjoy. Thank you so much to everyone who is supporting us there. And not to brag, but our Patreon community is pretty awesome. And you can join at a tier that feels good to you. Gain access to fun perks like Kdrama posts, monthly Patreon-only bonus podcasts, and even a live K-drama support group on Zoom, because we know firsthand what it's like to have no one to talk to about those crazy plot twists, amazing characters, and all those feelings. And look, no one should have to walk that walk alone. So learn more by visiting afternoonadelight.com. That's www.afternoonadelight.com. And hey, while you're on the website, you can check out Afternoona Delight podcast merch, find links to book recommendations, bop along to our K-pop Rex, glow up your skin with K-merch Rex, find all of our social media, and a link to our email so you can send us recommendations or feedback. And hey, while you're at it, why don't you pop over to Spotify or Apple Podcasts and leave us a 5-star review? It really helps with our discoverability. 감사합니다.
So what kinds of things do you both like to do when you drive?
Pay attention to the road? Is this a trick question?
All right, how about when you fold laundry?
Why am I folding laundry in this scenario?
Read, friends. I was trying to get you to say read.
You could just ask us if we like to read when we drive, or... Wait, how are you reading when you're driving?
With Audible, you know, our sponsor, who is the leading creator and provider of premium audio storytelling, enriching the lives of millions of listeners every day. I listen to audiobooks on my commute to work, in the car.
Oh yeah, I totally do that. I love my Audible subscription.
Then why'd you leave me hanging with the whole driving thing? Forget it. It's not important. What is important is that now our listeners can get a 30-day free trial of Audible Premium Plus from Afternoona Delight. Do you know what they get with that free trial?
Actually, I do. They get 1 audiobook credit, 2 if they are Prime members, which is good for any premium selection, and they get to keep that audiobook.
They also get the whole Audible Plus catalog of podcasts like Afternoona Delight, audiobooks, guided wellness, and Audible originals.
And with the Plus catalog, you can listen all you want, no credits needed.
And Audible sends you a reminder email before your trial ends.
Sounds like a great way to spend 30 days to me, especially if you're heading outside for a walk, have a long commute to work, or just want to hear one of many talented narrators really bring your book to life. All you have to do is go to www.audibletrial.com/afternoona to sign up, and you're ready to download your first listen. Enjoy! So, here's a good question. And I was thinking about this when I was thinking of some of our favorite dramas, but then also thinking about how, you know, we kind of found like favorite actors early on in our drama watching, right? Like I love Lee Min-ho, I love Gong Yoo. Those are, you know, 2 of my tops and always will be. Ji Chang-wook, one of yours. An Bo-yeon.
Yes.
And that often will bring us to a drama because of the actor, right? We're like, we're going to watch whatever the next thing is.
Yeah.
And sometimes whatever the next thing is sucks.
Yeah.
Why are we forgiving? Like, why are we forgiving of stuff like The Silent Sea and The Sound of Magic? Because we waited so long for a new Gong Yoo drama. We waited so long for a new Ji Chang-wook drama. And I'm not saying that you should like drop your favorite actor if they do a drama that you don't like, but I want to know like what is sort of the phenomena that can get us through a drama. Like I hated Personal Taste with, you know, Sun Yoo-jin and Lee Min-ho, but I will still watch them in anything else, you know, they do if it looks appealing to me. So what, like, is it a halo effect, or is it just like we give a pass because not everything, like you don't have control over the script, not everything's going to be great. Like, what is it?
I think if the first thing you watched an actor in is not your favorite, I think that's
a good point
to get over, and then to love them in something else. But I think if the first time you saw an actor and it was a drama that just completely like stole your heart, I just don't think it goes away. Like, I just think I do think it's a halo effect. Like, it doesn't really matter what Ji Chang-wook does. I will sign on to watch his dramas because I also like, I know what he's capable of.
Right.
And I think
that's part of it too, for sure.
That's a thing too, you know, I mean, oh my God. And when it comes to like Lee Dong-wook, like I watched Goblin and then Touch Your Heart back to back. And so I was clearly in like Lee Dong-wook like fantasy land. I mean, I was just so happy because I just loved him. And then I even followed him to like Sound of Magic, and I was like, yeah, I'll watch you in this crazy freaking drama.
Ji Chang-wook. You went from Lee Dong-wook to Ji Chang-wook.
No. I'm sorry. Then I followed him into
Strangers from Hell.
Lee Dong-wook into Stranger from Hell, which was insane. And oh my gosh, then Tale of the Nine-Tailed, which was also crazy, but
like
it
fun,
didn't matter.
Crazy.
That was
because
fun.
it was. I think what made that like that one wasn't like when we were done. We weren't like, oh, that was a terrible drama. We were like, just nothing in that story made sense, but it was such a riot to watch it and talk about it. You know,
right? And I mean, at this point, I know what Lee Dong-wook can do, so I'm willing to just follow him into anything. And I guess on Bo-hyun too, like I watched him in Military Prosecutor Doberman, which don't get me wrong, was like a totally like entertaining drama, but it wasn't like anything. It didn't like grab my heart. I just watched it and it was like entertaining, but I was willing to watch it for him, and I did. And honestly, I hadn't planned on watching it, and then I saw I'm easy, Amy, and I literally saw one clip of him like standing in front of a mirror with like his like military on, but he was shirtless.
Of course.
And I was like,
does he
I
have
guess
a
I'm watching
shirtless
it.
scene in every drama he's in? That's something to look up.
Right. This is the thing, is they like had no reason to make him shirtless. Like he was never really, so they just made up reasons. So they just showed him changing for no reason. Just absolutely no reason. They just showed him changing in front of a mirror, and he like pauses to like stare at his like impressive pectorals, and they just let him do that because of course. Then at one point he's wearing tight jeans and a tight sweater, and they have him jump in a river just to be wet because of course. So they have him do that. They just like clearly are still giving us the An Bo-hyun female gaze, even though the drama is like about abuses in the military. And I'm not laughing about it. I'm
but
just
they
laughing
know
that
who
they're
their target
like,
audience is.
yeah, they're like, we put An Bo-hyun in this role, so clearly we need to like do something about it. And it's like, yes, you do. Like the most action this man gets in the drama is when he's like lying on a couch with a dog, like an actual Doberman, in his sweats, and he looks very good in them. But An Bo-hyun, not the dog. So it's like it's just, and I'm like, I'll watch you. Like I'll watch you do anything. I even watched him in Yumi Cells.
Yeah, I guess like that's totally it, right? If the first thing you see them in blows you away, you know what they're capable of, and they can do no wrong. Like obviously, the first thing I saw Gong Yoo in was Goblin, and that still to this day is my favorite drama, and always will be. And in my mind, he is Kim Shin, and always will be Kim Shin. And if he if he finds himself as a space commander on a mission that makes no sense to the moon, so be it. I'm still going to be a fan.
With his sad helmet light.
His sad helmet light, his metaphorical death after his real death. Sorry, spoiler alert.
Oh my God.
But also, like, yeah, you know what they're capable of. And, you only have so much control, especially when a drama's being written while you're making it. Like, that's something, that I forget sometimes, is that it's happening as they're making it. So anything can happen at some point. And sometimes, the story just, it gels and you get everything you want. And that's for me, like Crash Landing on You and, and Goblin and Healer and stuff like that. And so, yeah, for that reason, I will always be fans of Hyun Bin. I will, of Gong Yoo, of Ji Chang-wook. The first thing I saw Lee Min-ho in was The King Eternal Monarch, and that made me a fan for life. And I've so far loved everything but one thing, that I've watched him in. Yeah, and I'll keep coming back for more because I think that I keep hoping that I'm going to get that sort of epic feeling that I got seeing them for the first time.
Well, I even think of how like Western actors, like I don't like everything they do, but I'm going to keep coming back.
Yeah.
Like I'll just say my husband's one of his favorite actors, Leonardo DiCaprio. I mean, and part of it is because
he used to be one of
the
mine.
movies.
Like 20 years ago.
He said, but right. He likes Leo's like later.
Yeah.
Like he likes, because now Leo's picking those like a little bit more like interesting rules and they're, I don't know. And so Neil will like, he'll watch anything he's in, even if it's like not a movie he likes now. He'll just watch him because I think he's like,
He's a
there's
good
something
performer.
in Leo's
Yeah.
performance that will like he likes like Gangs of New
Right.
York Leo,
Right.
which who doesn't? That was a good movie. And actually, so this made me think. This is like a segue, or not a segue. This is a tangent. It made me think when you mentioned Kim Shin. I am currently writing like a new project, so most of my alien books are connected. Okay, they're kind of in like a connected world. That's what my readers like. So I kind of stay there because I, want my readers to buy my books. So I just gotta stay there. But I have had this idea for a new story for a while, which I think I told you about because part of it is inspired by the Continental Hotel in John Wick. Okay. I decided to incorporate reincarnation. Inspired by Kim Shin because I'm not going to I'm still working out in my head.
love
and I
it.
also just, I don't know. I am very excited about it because I think it's going to be kind of like a Guardian type reincarnation.
Oh,
story.
I love it.
And I am so excited. And I'm like, thank you, Kdramas. Like, obviously, like, oh my God, writers seek inspiration from everything. So it's, and reincarnation isn't like a new thing or anything. But I'm, obviously I'm writing it differently. But I did love the reincarnation whole storyline of Goblin. I just loved it.
I love the idea of fated mates.
Yes.
I really love that. That's a favorite
love
trope of
the idea
mine.
of fated mates.
For sure.
Yeah, same. In everything. In books, in movies, I freaking love it. So yeah, I'm writing kind of like a Guardian type fated mates reincarnation, and I'm so pumped.
Oh my gosh, I love that.
I truly am. But thank you, Kdramas, because I really have been inspired so much from plot lines of Kdramas because they just do tropes like nobody's
It's made me
business.
be, I think, a little bit less tame in my conflicts because obviously I write contemporary romance, so there's not a whole lot that I can do. But I mean, like, I added like a little bit of a mystery to my last book that I wrote that's not out yet. I've added like a little bit of suspense to ones before, and it's all like because of and it really is. I mean, that's one of the things that I learned watching Crash Landing on You is you do not have to stick to one trope or genre. Like you can mix and match a little bit. Like I'm not, I'm not at the point where my editors are going to let me start bringing like fantasy elements into my writing, but you know what? I'm going to
into your contemporary
but I'm going to infuse a little bit of suspense, a little bit of mystery sometimes.
Heck yeah.
Have some over the top emotional things, and I love that. And I was actually talking about this with my 13-year-old son the other day about something came up about writing. And I was like, well, this is I know what it was. So he has to read an independent book every quarter. And he is not my kid who like loves reading. So I try and find something that's going to hook him. And he had not read The Hunger Games yet.
Oh,
I know.
man.
I'm like, all right, buddy. I'm like,
Book one of Hunger Games. Book one is.
I'm like, buddy, you're
great.
reading The Hunger Games. Of course, did it inspire him to read Catching Fire and Mockingjay? No, but he watched all the movies, like so that we did that over winter break, and so that was super fun.
That's great.
Yeah, and so he loved the stories, but like if he doesn't have to read to get story, he'll watch, and that's fine, But he did did the audiobook of Hunger Games because we love audio reading, and audiobooks are not cheating. So, yeah. So he did The Hunger Games and, wrote his little response on that, and he loved it. And I was talking about, I said, The Hunger Games was, a kind of like a big front runner of the YA dystopian movement. I mean, I really think The Giver by Lois Lowry, but that came out like a little bit before like the big boom of, of like Hunger Games and like, The Maze Runner, stuff like that. And Hunger Games was like a really big one for me that made me realize, oh, I love this genre. And I read like nothing but YA dystopian for like quite a long time in the early 2000s. But I was telling him, I'm like, well, it's not like the way Suzanne Collins did the writing and the way that she told the story and how it all weaves together, like up until the very end, I'm always blown away by it. I said, but like not every idea is 100% original. And I said, there's a manga called Battle Royale, which is, the same type of thing where it's like a fight to the death situation. And I know they both came about like around the same time. And Connor's like, well, yeah, that's what a battle royale is. Like, cause he has like video games that are battle royale. I said, yeah. I said, so, yeah. I said, so it's a concept that isn't brand new. I said, but the story that, gets put to it is what's brand new. And I said, and that's why there's so many other dystopians where it's like the chosen one who has to like, take down the government. And that's why all these dystopians came out and worked even after the Hunger Games, because it was a new twist on the idea, right? And so that's kind of like, what we're talking about here with our stuff. Yeah. If we are inspired by K-drama, I think that's awesome because it's giving us, it's giving us that motivation to come up with something new, but to use that universal fantasy butter that everybody loves. Mm-hmm. Like if you read the blurb of a book and it says that it's got reincarnation, you're like, fuck yeah, I'm in. And that's all you needed to know.
Yeah.
Right? Like that's butter. Right.
Ugh. I know. And it's funny because I'm working on like my blurb and I've been like messing with it for a long time. And I think I'm actually going to completely rework it now because I was writing this morning.
You can send me a blurb anytime because those are like my favorite
things.
I
know. I just had kind of like another epiphany and so I think I'm going to change something, but it's true. I mean, I would say too, I'm really heavily inspired by certain character traits that sometimes I either read or I see. Like, even a very classic pairing is the grumpy one and the sunshine one. But there's different ways you can make them grumpy, different ways you can make them sunshiny. And so I'm always kind of inspired by traits like that. And how is this author writing her grumpy hero? And you know what I mean? I love it. And they always say like, if you write, you need to read. And it's true. Because I would say too, I get so inspired just to write my own stories, even not get inspired about a certain plot or character or anything. Just sometimes I'll read a line that someone else has written and I think, damn, that was some good prose. Mm-hmm. And then immediately it just like infects my brain and then I go and suddenly my prose is better because I just felt, I don't know, sometimes you just surround yourself with like good words.
Absolutely.
And then you can produce them. So I feel like that's the thing with K-dramas now is I watch them and I feel like I do feel like I'm surrounded by good writing, by good tropes. And so then it makes me, I want to write a story this good too.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean? The reason why I wrote my first book, which was a YA dystopian that, has not gotten published and probably never will. But it was, I read The Hunger Games and then I read, the first Divergent book soon after that because it had just come out. Oh my God. Divergent had just come out.
Veronica Roth?
Yeah.
Veronica Roth. Oh my God, those books were huge.
Who, basically, she's from Chicago, by the way. Grew up in Barrington, which is one town over from me, which is where Leah used to live when she lived in Illinois. But anyway, I digress. But yeah, I read all 3 Hunger Games, like probably in a week. And then one of my colleagues at the time when I was teaching English was like, you know what, this new dystopian just came out and it's getting a lot of buzz and it's called Divergent. So I went and read Divergent and I was like, I need to write something like this. Like I need to write. Yeah. And I'd never written a book before. I never knew that I wanted to write a book.
First thing you wrote?
That was the first thing I wrote.
We all have our first books that no one.
And this was, just to say, I mean, this is getting off on a little bit of a tangent, but like, it is never too late to like figure out that this in my mid-30s and I was like, this needs to come out of me. I need to make something like this. Like, I love it so much.
It makes me so, it does. It makes me so happy when I hear people being like, I'm writing a book. I'm like, freaking do it.
Yeah.
Like, don't wait. Just do it. And it doesn't have to be, just write it, man.
I know. I had a colleague who was always like, I want to write, but and never sit down and write a book, but like, I just, hemmed and hawed. And I'm like, the only way to write the book is to write the book.
I know. You got to sit down. It can be a lonely profession because like no one can do it for you. Like no one can write those words for you. And it's lonely when I'm sitting down at my computer and I'm just like staring at the cursor and I'm like, I don't know what sentence
Right.
comes next. But they say like take one sentence at a time. I've been doing a lot of like classes and stuff recently on how to, write more efficiently and things.
And that, like, those days happen where you sit staring at the screen and like a sentence won't come. And then there's the days where it's pouring out of you and it's like euphoric. And
I know.
and you want to like, you need to, no, I was going to say, you need to remember those times because those don't happen every day. But when they do happen, you're like, this is why I'm doing this.
Yeah, I really struggled yesterday because I hadn't written for a long time. Writing too is like, if you haven't written for a long time, you have to ease yourself back into it, at least for me. And so I was really struggling yesterday. And then I took a shower at night and all of a sudden this entire scene
Always
and
in the
dialogue
shower.
sequence came into my head.
Always.
And I was like, what the fuck? Yeah, so I like got out of the shower. I'm like dripping red. I like ran to my office and started like typing. And I wrote like 1,000 words like super quick. And I'm like, what? Are you kidding me? I agonized for hours this morning. And then in 20 minutes, I wrote like 1,000 words. I was so irritated. I was so irritated.
Every time I sit down and I'm like, I have to write 1,000 words or I have to write 1,500 words. And I'm like, it's going to take me 3 hours. And those days that it happens in like 20 minutes, I'm like, why? Why can't this be every day? Like, why?
I know.
So
I
was going to say, so we're getting close to, our time here. And you just made me think of something that I wanted to ask where you kind of already did it. But like, I want to know, like, other than the reincarnation thing, is there like a K-drama convention or trope or whatever that you have not used in your writing that you know someday you want to try and use? That you're like, I never thought this could work. And look at how it works here. Like for me, it is amnesia. Like I have wanted to write an amnesia story for a long time. And Leah and I actually plotted one together, like blurbed it and like had this whole idea for it that we were going to write together. But then we, like as often happens, like you get a lot of great ideas, but like the time and the means to execute them aren't always there. So we had an amnesia idea that's still kind of sitting on my computer. I think it might have been something that she was helping me plot to try and sell to my agent, but I can't remember now. But I know that we came up with an amnesia idea together. And it was a romance, of course, an amnesia romance.
Of course.
Yeah.
I wrote an amnesia plotline last year, like 2021, and it was inspired by Kdramas.
That's awesome.
I was like, I want to write an amnesia plotline, and I did, and it was super fun. Like, I really loved it. I think my readers liked it too.
I can't talk about my favorite amnesia plotline because it's a spoiler, but you know which one it is. Just
right.
There's a really, of all the amnesia plotlines that are out there, and I actually haven't seen one in a while. So I think I'm kind of due. We're kind of due for one. But of all the amnesia plotlines out there, of all the dramas that we've watched, there's one in particular that I think is the most, well done version of it. Like you can have super hokey, like Boys Over Flowers, which don't get me wrong, I gobbled that drama up, but the amnesia was funny. And then you can have like it actually have meaning and work, and it does at times.
Honestly, I kind of want to do time travel sometime.
Oh my God, that's amazing.
I've never done time travel. I think it would be really cool. I feel like I've talked about this series on the pod before, but I haven't talked about it in a very long time. But it's called it's like Caveman Aliens by Callista Sky. It's so freaking great. But it's not time travel, but it makes me feel like how I would want to write time travel. But basically, these girls get stolen or a ship crashes or something on this planet, and all the aliens are like primitive cavemen. So they like live in caves, and they like sleep in their furs, and they ride dinosaurs as like their battle stallions, and it is the coolest shit. And like it's all these like prehistoric animals that are like predators. It's so fucking cool. And so I think about that. Like, of course, I would probably tie it to like sci-fi or something, but I just feel like it would be really fun to write some sort of time travel Like maybe like their ship gets stuck in a wormhole, or I don't know.
That's
but
awesome. I love it.
I just think it's a really cool, it's a really cool plot line, and maybe one of these days.
I love it. Yeah. I mean, we already mentioned it, but if you want a good time travel romance, please go watch Go Back Couple.
Yes.
The King Eternal Monarch has, not only universe hopping, but time hopping as well. And it's super fun. Yeah, I love that. And I love, because that's such a good conflict for a romance, right? Like it's right there. Like, you are from different times. How can this ever work?
Right. And it's like, that's the thing about tropes, is half the time they're built in conflicts, and that's why people use them too.
Yeah, that's why they keep working.
And people like them.
Yeah, that's universal fantasy, folks. Like, I mean this to be a universal fantasy, episode, but it's kind of gone that way. But that's why, like, you using reincarnation, like, that's universal fantasy butter. It's not like Kdrama made it up. It just works so well, and you see it work so well, and you keep coming back for it. So you're like, yeah, fucking write it.
Yeah, man, I'm excited about it. I hope this, I mean, this story is mainly like, I don't know. It's an experiment for me, but I'm like, you know what? I need to write something a little bit fresh. I'm kind of writing it for me, and I hope it works out, but we'll see. Either way, I'm happy doing it. So
I'm excited for you. Yeah. I'm like, I'm sitting here thinking like, what can I use my next book? Like, I want to do something buttery.
I mean, heck, yeah, you should write some PNR soon, some paranormal.
I want to. I do.
I feel like you would be so good at it. Even like almost like a rom-com paranormal, I feel like you would be really good at. And there's a bunch of those in the stores right now.
Yeah.
I was actually walking through the store the other day, and there's like paranormal rom-coms.
Yeah, well, I'm not going to get into it, but I did have, a witch trilogy that I did try and sell.
Oh, I forgot about that. Well, you should try again.
You never know.
Witches are totally in right now.
I know.
All right. Well, you know what? We filled, actually, that was a quick hour.
Because we enjoy this. Like, that's the thing.
Yeah, this is
like,
the thing.
I wanted to do this tonight. Like, I had a stressful day, not just because of the ice cream, folks, but it was a day. The ice cream was a big part of it. It was just like the no icing on the cake of the day that was shit.
Right. Yeah, and my day was I'm not even getting into it, but it was a whole thing. And so, yeah, I needed this as well. So this actually really made me happy. And that was really fun to talk about, because we all talked about like our favorite things.
Which really, that's how this all started, right? Like, except when it first started, it was just like, 2 dramas that we'd watch, and we couldn't stop talking about them.
I know, right?
But it's fun. I mean,
we did. We just kept recycling because we've watched.
Just kept talking about Chloe and Goblin for a while.
I know. I'm so sorry for those early episodes.
But like, I'm so nostalgic for all the things that we loved now. Like, I'm giving you a heads up if you haven't looked at the Chloe script for next recording. I did ask you and Leah and myself to name your current top 5 dramas, and if Crash Landing on You is still in it.
Okay.
And I haven't nailed down those top 5 yet. I will for the recording, but in thinking about them, I was like, oh, I want to watch this again. I want to watch this again. Like, that's how I know it's my top 5, is that I want to watch it again.
That is hard. I
know.
That's going to be hard. Okay, I'll do it. All right. Well, next week we'll be back, all 3 of us. God willing.
Again, we don't know when this is going to drop. We're probably just going to drop this one as is. So this will probably be our next episode.
Yeah, I'm again sorry if it's chaotic. I hope you enjoyed listening to us. We don't want to miss a week. We're obviously committed, and also this is for us. This is our self-care.
I mean, we appreciate you. We do, but we do this for us as well.
So we wanted to be on here to talk about things that make us happy. So that's why we're here. And it did make me happy. And now I'll go to bed happy after I watch maybe a few.
Please watch Singles Inferno. Please watch Singles Inferno.
Okay. I might fall asleep halfway.
That's okay.
I might not get to episode 8 because I have to watch
7. And they're long too. So. They're both over an hour. So yeah.
I know. I'll try my best. Okay. So, okay. Well, then we did a good job.
You know what? Pat ourselves on the back. Nice job, Megan. Nice job, Amy.
Because we threw this together at like half an hour before recording, so we did a good job.
And Leah, we hope you have power. We hope that you are not floating away in the sea.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, we are concerned about you.
And in any of our listeners
we-
who might be in the Santa
Yes.
Cruz area, like we hope you're all okay. And
Right. We've been checking in with her.
all right.
She's okay so far. All right. Well, thank you very much for listening to our chaotic episode, and let us know what you think.
We'll see you next time.
Till next time.
Annyeong.
Kamsahamnida. Thank you for listening to Afternoona Delight. Where can you find us outside the pod? Head on over to afternoonadelight.com. That's AFTERNOONADELIGHT.com. You'll find links to all our social media, our book recs, K-pop and K-skincare recs, and if you want even more Afternoona Delight, because really who doesn't, you can join our Patreon, where you can choose the patron level that's right for you. Join in daily K-drama conversations, listen to bonus podcast episodes just for patrons, and participate in our monthly live K-drama support group via Zoom. We can't wait for you to be a part of the community. Until next time, annyeong!